right, good morning. My name is Ifeyemi Andrew, and this morning, as many would have already anticipated, if you're on Facebook, you might have come across what the conversation for today is about. If you haven't, well, get on Facebook now at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH and join in on the conversation. Well, yesterday, we all saw what unfolded at the Supreme Court. We would be looking into that. But beyond even the activities at the court yesterday and the decision of the Supreme Court, we're still going to look at development in Rivers State. And that is why my guest this morning is the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Joe Johnson. Sir, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Andrew, and good morning to Rivers people.
All right, quite a lot. So there's been, yesterday I was following and I saw the councils for both sides all put out their positions on this. I'd like us to start first by listening to what was said by both councils. We'll start with the council that represented Ameule and 25 others, many these days now described as the pro-Wike lawmakers. And this is what the lawyer said after the judgment yesterday I was following and was delivered.
We are very happy today. All
right, this is the lead counsel for the government of Rivers State. And let's listen to, I'd like to just take it back. I want us to get what was said by the lead counsel for the Rivers State government.
We are very happy today. All the appeals have been taken and judgment reserved in respect of the appeals. We won at the Court of Appeal, and the other side came on appeal to the Supreme Court. Luckily today, the 6 appeals were heard and judgment has been reserved. So we'll await the day of judgment. The date will be communicated to the parties, and then we'll all be here. With respect to what happened this morning, as you are well aware, we filed an appeal against the judgment of the Court of Appeal in respect of the budget of the state. The budget has since expired. We're now talking of 2025 budget, but that appeal had to do with 2024 budget. Secondly, with respect to the defection, the legislators, it was after the judgment of the High Court, Joseph Motosho, and the Court of Appeal, that they defected. So the question of their defection is now pending before the Federal Court in Port Harcourt. So, and that is why we withdrew the appeal on the ground that it has been overtaken by events. All right? So it was our own, we withdrew the appeal, contrary to the misinformation that has been created in the minds of Nigerians. We withdrew the appeal, and that is the normal thing, to have it dismissed, because we have joint issues. We have retained papers.
So having withdrawn it, does it not mean that Ameule remains the speaker?
No. He has defected. After the judgment of the lower court, he has defected. And that is being challenged now in the Federal High Court.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, that's Femi Falana there, and lead counsel for the Rivers State government, to be responding to that. But then also hear what the counsel for the pro-Wike lawmakers said with regards to yesterday's activity in court. Let's hear their position.
Was dismissed by the Supreme Court this morning following the notice of withdrawal by the governor of the appeal he filed. Consequently, the decisions of the Court of Appeal and that of the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice Omotosho J, affirming that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martin Ameule and the other 26 members of the House of Assembly, are the authentic members of that House of Assembly.
All right, so that point became even more confusing because, we're in court. We didn't hear the court say anything about that. But then the lawyer says, since he admitted that it was a withdrawal, not a dismissal of a case, but then the appeal was withdrawn by the Council to State Government. Can you give us insight into this? Because online, everybody now is a lawyer. Everybody was in court. Everybody is giving different opinions to this, and it's causing even more and more confusion everywhere. What exactly is the situation now?
Well, nothing has changed. Like you listened to the Leonard Silk, Femi Falana, that the court didn't make any pronouncement on the status of Martins Amaewhule because the matter is at the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. That's the issue of defection. So there's no way. I mean, the court is not a Father Christmas. It does not give you what you didn't ask for. What only happened in yesterday's sitting of the Supreme Court was that we withdrew voluntarily because we felt that 2024's budget had been spent as at 31st of December last year. We had already finished with 2024. As we speak now, we're operating the 2025 budget. So it will be an effort in futility to go and be flogging a dead horse. The dead horse will never rise. And if the Supreme Court felt that there was any matter, any case in that matter, they would have objected to the attempt to withdraw.
So in other words, the dismissal that followed was because of the withdrawal?
Yes, that was why it was dismissed. Of course, if you withdraw, that means there's no case anymore. And the two parties agreed that truly there was no case. And the Supreme Court affirmed it.
So what was the fine? Because some people were interpreting a fine of 2 million to say, because they say you should pay a fine, it means that we were supposed to win or this and that.
No, if you go to our traditional sittings, if I take you to my traditional council and then I eventually say I no longer want to continue with the matter, the drinks I would have come with, and perhaps a mitigating fee
for wasting the time of the council,
because you had filed processes. There's nothing wrong with it.
So that was what 2 million was for.
Yes.
You wasted the time of the court, and so you were fine.
So
what happens going forward now in Rivers State? Until, of course, a date for judgment is set by the Supreme Court. What's the status quo and what happens going forward?
We will wait for the Supreme Court. There's nothing you can do. You can't run faster than your shadow. The matters that we took to court, the remaining 4 cases, as it were, will get judgment on a date that will be communicated to parties.
Well, there are those Rivers people, some of them, in some corners, who are, that the Martin Amaewhule and the lawmakers with him should go take over the House. With what happened yesterday, they are the ones that are authentic speakers, and all of those talks have been going around social media.
Well, people are bound to speculate. We have, as we are, we carry different opinions, and I want to believe strongly that some will be for and some against. There's nothing for Martin Amaewhule to take over. Martin Amaewhule didn't tell the court when he went to Omotosho, he didn't say that he had defected. Don't forget that he filed this matter on the 29th of November, 2023. He went to the assembly on the 11th of December, perhaps 10 or 12 days after, and defected to APC, invariably offending Section 109(1)G of the Constitution. When he appeared before Omotosho, he didn't say, I have defected. I don't know if you get it. So the
decision, you're implying that the judgment that
Omotosho
made was with the idea that he had not defected?
A default judgment. The court didn't know. He didn't also disclose to the court that he had defected. If he had defected, of course, it means that he had ceased to be a member of the assembly.
But then there are those that would argue the fact that, well, it's a judgment, especially the Omotosho. If you had listened to the counsel, it was also referring to the same thing. Say, well, since this matter has happened how it is, there was a withdrawal, it's been dismissed, and the judgment of Omotosho stands.
Don't forget that 6 days after Martin defected, Martin defected on the 11th. On the 18th of December, who appeared before Mr. President, who said, go and withdraw all cases in court. That was why we withdrew. We didn't argue further. We didn't present any case as it were before Omotosho. I don't know if you get the logic. It was on the strength of our withdrawal that he got that default judgment. With the Court of Appeal said, since we didn't appear before the lower court, the trial court, we had no basis, we had no locus in law to begin to argue any case. That was the matter that we appealed. Don't forget that what took him to court was the presentation of the budget. And presentation of the budget was on the strength of the fact that they said they had more people in the assembly against 4. And then went to court to argue that they were the majority house. Perhaps if they went on with that matter without defection, I'm sure that the court would have listened to them. But we withdrew all our cases. They went ahead without even disclosing to the court that they had defected. So you can see our dilemma. That was the reason why we graciously and the court voluntarily granted us the request to withdraw. We filed the normal process through our learned silk, Yusuf Ali, who the parties, both the representatives of the Martin side and then the representatives on the government side, agreed that it was academic to go on with that exercise.
So then the question many would be asking now is how all of this is affecting development in the state, because for somewhat couple of weeks, for many it's been relatively quiet and we haven't really heard much. In fact, there's some that say, oh, the governor is now mainly in Abuja and not in Rivers State where he should be to focus on governance.
I can say for the listening public that the governor has never slept in Abuja since he became governor. I have no record of the governor ever sleeping in Abuja. If he ever goes to Abuja, of course, it will just be a short period. We'll have a number of events. Don't forget that the whole of December, we're on with commissioning projects. We commissioned projects across the states, local governments, and we're doing quite a lot in the sectors that were even identified with, not leaving out any other sector. But in the areas of agri, education, and health, we're doing so well. And even road and social infrastructure, we're also doing well.
What is there's? I heard from a grapevine. The reports are circulating that there is some sort of negotiations with council chairman to ensure that local government workers also get 85,000 naira as minimum wage.
That one, some local governments are already implementing it. I'm aware. Let me use my local government of Koro, for instance, to say that we already. Our chairman was on air a few days ago. A number of local governments are implementing, because local government staff or staffers are also Rivers people. Even though that is a tier of government that the council chairman will need to, cascade what the government is doing at the center. We're taking from federal. Federal says 70. We said 85. Local government is also saying 85. They're a tier of government. Federal government didn't impose it on us, and that's how we will also not impose it on the local government. But the local governments have gotten clear directive. I'm in touch with the chairman of acting chairman of the Local Government Service Commission, and he said there is already a circular that had gone to the councils.
For 85,000.
For 85,000. So there's hope rising for the council chairman. Council workers.
We have a short commercial coming shortly, but before then, because when we return, we'll be taking questions from the listener. I'd like your view on this. So far, with how the matters in court have been handled and how the Supreme Court, the judiciary in general, is handling these cases, are you satisfied at the process and how the matters are moving? Because for many, it's becoming too distracting. It should be over and done with.
Well, everything has its own time. For us, our concentration is on human capital development and developing Rivers State. We are also not losing sight of what is happening in the judiciary. So far, so good. I would say that we are standing on the good side of the law.
All right. We'll take that to be your quote before the commercial. When we return, we'll open the phone lines for questions. And there's still more to talk about development in Rivers State and whether all of these is hindering that process. Stay with us.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Us is the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Joe Johnson. We've talked about the rulings of the Supreme Court yesterday. You heard from both sides of the councils and where they stand. Well, it is now for you to look at the facts on the ground. The Commissioner has explained what had happened in court yesterday. And for those who said the 2 million and what it meant to them, is also explained why the court had to fine them that money. And it's simply because they have wasted the time of the court. If you know you are going to withdraw this appeal, why keep us here and file all these processes and all that happened? And that was the fine that was paid, nothing else, he says. Beyond that, we're also going to look into the developments in Rivers State with regards to the various sectors of the economy and how this political, many would say brouhaha now, because it has become even more confusing. Mind you, no judgment has been given by the Supreme Court. None was given yesterday, so that we do not go around putting out the impression that, a judgment. No judgment was given. The matters that need to be attended to were all heard. All appeals were heard, but no judgment was given. That's been reserved for another date that the court would let us know. So until that time comes, what then would be happening in Rivers State is the next question. All right, before we open the phone lines for you to ask your questions and let us know, how satisfied are you with how the Supreme Court is going about this matter? For so many, it is taking too much time and it is dragging development back or slowing down development, however the case may be. The Commissioner will let us know if that's the reality. But you can send in questions using our Facebook handle at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. If you haven't joined, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the Facebook handle. So get on Facebook now. You can watch, listen, and drop your comments and questions. The Commissioner would be responding. But the first question I would like to put out to you before we go to the listener is, what is happening with regards to development? There are projects that they embarked upon, flagged off last year. What are the states of those projects now, especially the health sector? We know that the government had said in the first quarter of this year, we're going to see transformation in the health sector. What is happening? Because workers' welfare, especially at the local government level, I've spoken to many of them, it's a huge concern. State of the healthcare, primary healthcare facilities, it's also a big concern, even though we're aware there's a task force that was set up and they're working on some health centers. How fast is this going to happen?
Let me do the backward integration system. In December, beginning from the 4th of December, we commissioned projects in various local governments up to the 21st of December, 4 days to Christmas. On the 4th of December, we commissioned the Okenyi Umuola Eberi Link Road. We commissioned the government secondary school in Ahoda. We commissioned a security surveillance gun boat. We gave 6 gun boats to the Navy to enable them tackle the menace of sea piracy, particularly on our coastal regions. We also commissioned the reconstructed blocks of flat we give to the Nigerian Air Force. We commissioned reconstructed Okania Ubogoro Road. That's in Obiakbo. We flagged off Egui Afara Road. We commissioned Opobo Ring Road. We commissioned the Bori internal roads. We commissioned Kali Ibiama section of Kala Ibiama Epelema Road stroke bridge. They're taking a bridge. Fortunately, that bridge is leading to my community Epelema. We commissioned the Palace of Ezo and Hapara. We commissioned the Egbeda Omerelu Link Road. And then we flagged off the Buguma Abalama. These are projects that we have done, and we commissioned them at the end of 2024. This year, in the health sector, which you have mentioned, we are reconstructing 135 primary health care centers across a number of wards and local governments in the states. That project is one project that is cardinal, particularly that we had won even an award as the best in the South in the areas of primary health care. Don't forget that we are also rebuilding the general hospitals in several local governments.
Referring to the zonal hospitals. Huh?
Zonal hospitals, I mean the general hospitals. The primary health care centers are the maternities where you go have child delivery and all that. We're also trying to see how we can bring back the intermediate, which is the general hospitals, to save the pressure at the tertiary. The tertiary institutions are the teaching hospitals, Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, and perhaps the University of Port Harcourt, so that certain cases that shouldn't really come to that level will be attended to. Hitherto, never had general hospitals functioning. We're doing them in Bori, in Ahoda, in Eche, and quite a number of in Degema. We're even building a new general hospital in Obiakpo local government, the site where you have the psychiatric hospital. We're also upgrading that psychiatric hospital to a level where it will become a neuropsychiatric hospital. It will have the eyeball of what you call a psychiatric hospital.
And all of these you're saying in the first quarter, because I remember the first quarter was the promise. Are we going to meet that target?
By His grace, we are. We are not a microphone government. We are not noisy in doing things. But there are things that we have done, particularly like you had asked. In the healthcare center, we have rebuilt. We have completed some are ongoing. And I want to assure us that in the month of March, the governor had already promised that he's going to commence another phase of commissioning. And quite a number of these facilities will be put to use. A number of them are being refurbished. Some are being equipped. And all that are part of what the plans of this government will be going forward.
A lot you've said about the infrastructure. I didn't hear much about the workers. Now, the workers' welfare in the health sector has been a major concern. Some people not getting the salaries that they should and not on the levels that they should. Some got the promotions but not being paid what they should. There's been many conversations around the primary healthcare board and the local government chairman. And to think that the local government chairmen are also saddled with the responsibility of building or putting up these primary healthcare centers, and now the state government is taking on this responsibility. Where does that then leave the local governments?
Let us even conclude with the health. Don't forget that we're recruiting 2,000 medics. I mean, those who are in that family, medical doctors, nurses,
lab technicians,
microbiologists, and the rest of them. That's a way to reenact or to strengthen what you have. And if you have human beings that can run a system, then you can be rest assured that you have capable hands. We have reconstituted and repositioned the governing boards of health parastatals for improved management of the 3 tiers of health services, including the boards of Rivers State University Teaching Hospital and Rivers State Hospitals Management Board. Well, that's put the managers first, then put the facilities, then the system will become effective. These are part of what we're doing, because you must place the cart properly so that the horse can truly have a movement. So we are doing as much as that. We are also doing a lot of things in the primary health care. I've already told you that aside from just that, we are rehabilitating the primary health care centers in 135 wards. That tells you the extent of damage that you would almost have had at that level. So all these are part of what we're doing in the health sector.
All right, let's open the phone lines. We'll come to the education sector, and most importantly, agriculture. But first, let's take a few calls and some messages on Facebook. You can call us up on 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0002. 923-0003. Willie Amadi says, please, when exactly will payment of minimum wage for local government workers commence? Is it going to commence this February? Opusunji says, good morning to the commissioner. I want to appreciate Governor and his legal team for being this strategic and calculating. Nobody can abort a child after delivery. Clever Sonny says, to the Honorable Commissioner has said it all. What is playing out is that the FCT minister has only given his supporters hope to keep them going till 2031, nothing more. Good morning. What Martin Amewole and the others are looking for is a way to amend the errors that they've made by defecting from the PDP to the APC. This is from Okechukwu Maduche. More messages coming in. The phone lines are up. 0817-923-0007. Again, 0817-923-0007. You can also call 0817-923-0003. Please ask the commissioner about the remote order by the governor asking local government chairman to pay 5,000 naira minimum wage. I don't think it was much of an order, but I think that question already has been addressed. Ask him what is happening in the education sector. The 1,000 newly recruited teachers and all that alone doing DD. Or it's a question for the health sector. I beg your pardon. The education sector, which I had also said we're going to come to shortly. We just need to take a few calls first. Okay. So remind the commissioner the state of primary school in Omudioga. Okay. So this is a picture for you to see. I'll just give that to you quickly since you're here. That's a primary school. That picture has been sent to us several times in Omudioga. Which brings us to, we'll come again to the council chairman and how they're helping the state government with all of these infrastructure decay that we have at that level. But first, let's go to the phone lines and take some calls. I don't know why we have issues with the lines. While we wait on this, we're having slight issues with the lines, but you can try the numbers 0817-923-0003. Someone has said the education sector. Let's go there. What's happening there and what's happening with the teachers that were said to be recruited?
They're distributing them. There are 1,000 teachers that were recruited. They are distributing them. Perhaps the way it was handled before didn't really spread. But the Commissioner for Education, I must say, had put some motions, machinery in motion to ensure that they are evenly distributed. 1,000 may be too small if you know the number of schools that we have in this state. But I'm sure that in the thinking of the governor, as we conclude with the 10,000 employment of civil servants, some of them, a majority of them may be teachers too. It is from there that we can glean and then, try to inject them into the schools.
There were talks of teachers saying some of them being short paid, deductions in their salaries. We got those reports. Some say 2,000, 8,000, 7,000 in some cases. And this was between December and January. I don't know if it's still on, but those were complaints that we got. I know that I had spoken to Labour about it, and they were trying to give some perspective as to what may have happened. I don't know if the government is aware of such happening, especially for teachers in the education sector.
Not to my knowledge.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. God's Power and Rumodara, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
All right, straight to your question, please, your contribution.
Yes, my name is Ayuba Gospel. Andrew, I have just 3 questions for the Honorable Commissioner this morning.
Straight to it, please.
He said that the Supreme Court directed that the fine should be paid because it was a waste of court's time. I want to ask, why then was the fine asked to be paid to Martins Amewole? Second, Andrew, it was the Justice Omotosho's judgment that was appealed, that the appeal court upheld twice. At what point does the governor know that it will be an academic exercise? Is it in the place of the governor to say which case is an academic exercise or the court? Andrew, in the judgment of Justice Omotosho, the governor was directed not to impede or interfere in the activities of Martins Amewole. The Omotosho's judgment also directed the inspector.
All right, God's Power, because of time, we know what the judgment said. What's the third question so that we can respond and take more calls? We don't really have a lot of time.
Why is it the Omoto's judgment to only presentation of budget.
Okay.
It was not. There are so many things in that budget
All right.
that's been withdrawn. So
The commissioner would respond. The questions are noted.
Lies.
Thank you, God's power. Let's go to JJ and Rumigbo quickly. JJ, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Yeah.
I'm a great Commissioner for Information for his wonderful work and explaining and all those put together.
I salute
You're
you.
doing a marvelous job.
I salute you.
Sir, I think the subject matter before Justice Omotosho is not about defection. So it's about budget presentation and some other stuff. And the budget has a tag, 2024. Where are we right now? If it's not so, actually William Wobodo, that is their supporter, what did he say? That Martin Amewule and his group to go to court to invoke talk something about the 2025 budget. If the Supreme Court, for instance, has said, look, you are like this, why are you going to court again for interpretation and all those put together? So I think people just want to celebrate where there is no celebration. At the end, they go to their room and cry. Thank you very much.
Ida from Inkora, good morning.
Ida from Inkora. Good morning.
All right.
My own question, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, please, I'm calling on INEC. House 29 seat that is vacant. Please do well to conduct the election. For this, the 27th defected from PDP to APC when there is no crisis. And people are jubilating, which I didn't see any judgment. And my own commissioner, please, the governor promised the people of Nkoro. When is the governor coming to Nkoro Kingdom to give us projects? We need a ring road. I send our pictures to you now on WhatsApp, on their WhatsApp and Nigeria Info. The schools are damaged. The students are suffering. Please tell the governor to visit Nkoro Kingdom. He has promised. So people of Nkoro will rejoice. I also from Nkoro will rejoice. Thank you.
Lugard is in a chair. Good morning, Lugard.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. Greetings from a chair to you. I want to especially greet Commissioner for Information. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I also want to thank you for your prompt response whenever you have been called upon by the media houses to explain the position of the state government. I want to thank you for that, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, I want to say that you have already said it all. Despite all the challenges, distractions, government is busy constructing roads and doing other projects in River State. And someone said that project is being halted. For me, I'm not seeing anything like that. Project is going on in the state. But what baffles me is the level of lawyers we have in the state. Everybody now have become lawyers in River State because of this political crisis. And they are interpreting it the way it suits the FCT minister's supporters. And they are the people hitting up the policy. I want to advise Imlaya supporters, remain calm. We are winning the battle.
All right, Lugard, thank you very much. Let's go on to Letambari now in Bori quickly. Letambari, good morning.
Good morning, Ifeimi Andrew, and good morning to the Commissioner.
All right, straight to the point, Letambari.
My concern has been on this whole issue pronounced by the Supreme Court, which we were all waiting. And I think two major courts, the Federal High Court and the Appeal Court, has made their pronouncement on the legitimacy of Martin Amewule, and yet the state governor proceed to Supreme Court. I want to ask the Commissioner, even if I have love for the governor, but I would always like to straighten...
Letambari, because of the time, quickly, what's the question? We have another caller on the line.
Are you saying from the pronouncement of the Supreme Court yesterday that Martins Amewule do not stand legit as the leader, Rivers House of Assembly?
All right, that's the question. Thank you. Noted. And we'll take one more before we get the response from my guest. Madam Dota from Gokana, good morning.
Thank you, Sir Andrew. Mine is simple. Saying that 2024 budget has been done with, dusted and gone, I want to ask the Commissioner, if the 2024 budget did all the magic that he talks about, what did he do in Gokana, where I come from? What did he do there? And today now, the Supreme Court has given them 2 million naira fine to pay. And they still tell me that it's a joke. This is joke taking too far, they say in the court. Madam Dr. Gokana, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Commissioner, okay, I'll get your response to those. A few questions here as well, but let's see what you heard.
Some are very, very interesting, I must say. The Supreme Court has spoken. If the Supreme Court agreed yesterday that it was a mere academic exercise, who am I to, what can I infer? What will I add anymore? There's nothing more to add, like they say in Beetle. There's nothing more to add. Supreme Court saw the matter presented before them and agreed that it be withdrawn. And the matter was withdrawn. And if it was withdrawn, and if the Supreme Court okayed it, it means that we can only appeal to God.
Okay. So the position of the first caller who asked three separate questions, I think one of
all those questions have been answered by the judgment, by the position of the Supreme Court yesterday. I don't think I have anything to add to it.
And Madam Tota says, anything done in Gokana from the 2024 budget?
Quite a lot would have been done in Gokana. I don't have the records of everything that we did in Gokana, but we didn't leave out anything, any local government in Gokana. We didn't, not one. Did we leave out in the 2023
So every local government from the
at least benefited in one way or the other.
All right. This person says, Commissioner, please, health care center in Omagwa needs help. I can tell you that at night they use torchlight sometimes because of no power. Even CS can't be done there. Instead, they refer you to another hospital. No equipment in the hospital. Please, we need help. I
had stated that we're doing serious rehabilitation in 135 health facilities, primary health facilities across the 23 LGs. Perhaps this will be part of that which is listed.
All right.
For attention.
There's another picture here. This is alarming condition of government secondary school of Merelu, completely dilapidated and deplorable state. Uninhabitable, unsafe. And then there are also talks about the situation at the Ignatius Ajuri University. We know that there's been protests by students about funds that were coming from the federal government for the loans. And they've been, I don't know if you've heard about that and the state government is aware.
To the best of my knowledge, I know that those funds coming from federal government come directly
to the schools,
to the beneficiaries.
Okay.
So I don't see where the River State government is involved. It's not rooted through the ministry, except I don't have a grasp of what is happening. But perhaps I'll need to do an introspection.
And then quickly, I'm sure that you're aware of the situation in Obele, Emoha local government area, the killings between last week and now, security challenge. Many have said, well, they haven't heard any statement from the governor. They expected at least some show of solidarity or at least to mourn with the families of those that must have lost loved ones. What's your position and how is the government looking at that? Have there been conversations with the local government chairman there to resolve that problem?
Beyond that, I'm aware, although security matters are not what I should come and be talking about on radio, but I'm aware that there have been security meetings with the governor, with all the security apparatus, that are supposed to be in charge of the security situations in the state. So I'm sure that some measures may have been put in place, to be able to, put a stem, or stem the development in trying to ensure that we do not lose lives.
Plenty of questions here. Some people still talking about those who lost their jobs at the Ignatius Ajuri University. This one says defection. Okay.
They had an opportunity. That exercise was open to everybody. So if you lost, perhaps because of the wrongful approach, the government provided an opportunity. I'm sure quite a number of people are on the list now for employment. Perhaps they will also be part of the beneficiaries.
And this one says, this last we take, so you've done marvelously well. Kudos to you, Commissioner Amifo Ernest, sent in that one.
Thank you.
We have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Okay.
Hello, Port Harcourt is next. Good morning.
For more talk, news.